I want to talk about a new tactic that the far right flank of the Republican Party is using to sabotage aid to Ukraine, and that is by, for some reason, comparing it to the Marine Corps budget. And that is exactly what Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky here is doing.
The amount of money going to Ukraine in this bill is more than we spend on the entire Marine Corps. Think about it. We're going to send to Ukraine more money than we spend on our own Marine Corps.
Okay, so it's very interesting that Senator Rand Paul is suddenly concerned about the Marine Corps' budget, because when the National Defense Authorization Act for 2024 came across the Senate floor, there were 13 no votes. 13 people said, nope, we're not going to fund the military. Senator Rand Paul was one of them that voted no, meaning he voted against funding the Marine Corps. So it's very interesting that suddenly he is concerned about the Marine Corps budget relative to the amount of aid we'd be providing Ukraine, and I think we all know the reason why it's suddenly a concern for him. And this isn't a binary situation here. It's not like we are providing aid to Ukraine at the expense of the Marine Corps. The United States is the most powerful and wealthy nation in the history of the world, is fully capable of providing funding to the Marine Corps and aid to Ukraine. I mean, we're talking about an amount that is 0.2% of the U.S. total gross domestic product. We're talking about an amount that is equivalent to 7% of our defense budget, which, is designed to counter Russia. So this idea that we're spending just huge amounts of money that could be going to the Marine Corps or to whomever is complete nonsense.
This is a bill about Ukraine first. This is a bill that makes us weaker. There is no money to give to Ukraine. It's not like we've got a pot of money.
Okay, so a couple things here. First and foremost, this absolutely does not make us weaker. It makes us much, much stronger. We are showing that we are able to project our capability and support countries and partners and allies that share our values against authoritarian, despotic, adventuristic nations such as Russia and Vladimir Putin. But the fact of the matter is, he talks about this as if we're once again just handing over bags of money or briefcases of money to the Ukrainians. And I get that they love to pander to the lowest information voter because they're not going to understand the nuances of what's really happening here. And it actually is hurting his own state. For some reason, he is wanting to support Russia, and it's coming at a cost of all of the states that have military industry within them, and that includes Kentucky. We are providing ammunition that is manufactured by Americans in their American jobs to Ukraine so that they can use that ammunition against our primary foe as NATO, and the United States is a part of NATO. Therefore, our primary foe is Russia. Russia invaded a partner country. It wasn't a NATO ally, obviously, but because they share our values, we should be supporting them against the country that is the antithesis of American values. Again, that is Russia. This is aid that 70% of it is coming back to the U.S. economy in the form of allowing U.S. manufacturers to ramp up capability to support Ukraine in defeating our primary NATO foe. In addition, when you talk about money, you always have to look at this as potentially an advertisement. The U.S. has a very robust military industrial complex, and I know that's a four-letter word that people don't like, but the fact of the matter is that is the case. People come to the United States to buy our weapons because they're good weapons. They work very well. And this war in Ukraine is showing how good U.S. weapons are. And we have had many orders, and to the tone of tens of billions of dollars in orders of F-35s, Abrams tanks, etc., to countries wanting to bolster their capabilities because of what they've seen in Ukraine with regard to Western equipment. And the money that we are going to make is going to far exceed the aid we provide Ukraine. So it is complete nonsense to look at this in either economic terms, military terms, or geostrategic terms. The only conceivable thing that I could think of that Rand Paul is trying to do, along with the right flank, those that are the MAGA side that are under Trump, is they don't want Biden victories. Or, at worst, they want a Russian defeat of Ukraine. For whatever reason, it serves them politically. This aid has nothing to do with the Marine Corps budget. This aid has everything to do with projecting our capability as Americans, upholding our values globally, and probably making a good chunk of money as a solid advertisement for how good American weapons are. And I know that sounds gross, but that is the reality. And Rand Paul is just ignoring all of that, including his own constituencies in Kentucky who are benefiting from jobs making weaponry and ammunition that is serving a purpose of containing and defeating NATO's primary foe.